sometimes as the leader, you have to jump back into the weeds and show them through your actions that you can produce the outcome and then hold them to the expectation of that outcome.
Welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how the world's most successful people think. Now, I am going to give you a disclaimer. What I'm about to share with you may not make you happy because you might be like, well, I don't want to be that way. You don't have to be. You are welcome to be any way you want. But if you listen to the Bedros Keuilian Show and you know that the foundation of the Bedros Keuilian Show is about money, meaning, and self-mastery, that makes someone successful, not just financially, but across every realm of their life. Their relationships, their personal health, their mental health, their financial health, and their meaning health, right? And so we know that if you're watching the show or listening to the show, that you care about success across all measurable factors in your life, then don't you want to know how successful people think? Because if you're like, well, you know, my mom and dad, they prepped me to be successful in life. The school system has prepped me for this. I'm good to go, B. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because what I'm about to tell you may be disturbing to you when you hear how really successful people are. And you're like, well, that sounds very harsh. That sounds very cutthroat. I don't think I want to be like that. I'm telling you, this is how it is. Doesn't matter if they're athletes. It doesn't matter if they are entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if they are political leaders. This is how all successful people think. And you have to understand this. From Warren Buffett to Elon Musk to Donald Trump to your favorite athlete, right? You got Michael Jordan, you got Dwayne Wade, the great and late, and may he rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. This is how they thought. And if you've ever read, by the way, Tim Grover's book, Relentless, he talks about coolers, closers, and cleaners. Effectively, we're talking about cleaners. Like when the job must get done and the game must be won, who is the cleaner that you throw the ball to knock it out of the park? Or in the game of basketball, to get the ball in the basket. It is the cleaner. And so how do cleaners think? How do successful people and winners think? By the way, if you have not read Relentless by Tim Grover, go get that book. It's an awesome book. I promise you it'll be transformational. And you might be like, oh my God, I completely connect with the closer or the cooler or the cleaner. Like he defines each of those characters so well. And they're all different levels of success. But the cleaner is the ultra successful. And that's who I want to share with you so that you can pick and choose what traits you want to pull. Because what if you could actually take or adopt some of the traits of the most successful people in the world, right? Wouldn't you want to adopt that to your morning routine, adopt that to your relationships, adopt it to your health, and add it to your business model? Of course you would. You would become a force to be reckoned with if you could take these traits from some of the most successful people on the planet. So let's dive in. The most successful people live urgently. The most successful people are impatient. The most successful people have high expectations of themselves and of the people around them. The most successful people seem unrealistic and unreasonable in their expectations. And the most successful people are competitive. This is how it is. And you're like, well, I don't understand. Why do I have to be that way and be successful? I look at success as waking up whenever I want and journaling. And then as long as I have a roof over my head and some food in my belly, I'm happy. Cool. Then maybe this episode is not for you. Feel free to not watch. And that's cool too. But if you're like, wait a minute, man, I have these dreams. I have these goals. I have this passion in me that's burning, this gnawing of greatness. Like, I know I'm meant for more. Like, I knew ever since I was a kid, man, like I'm meant for more. I was like, okay, my mom and dad brought me to the United States for a reason. We escaped communism. I'm so thankful for that. And I'm here and I'm going to make something of myself and I'm going to build a legacy. I'm going to be so grateful to my parents for what they've done for me to escape and put their life on the line and come to the United States. And I just feel indebted to them. And so I'm going to make something amazing out of myself. Like, I had that burning desire ever since I could remember. And so if you're one of these people, but you're like, but what's the game plan? Because if you have the burning desire, here's what ends up happening. Society tells you that you shouldn't be in a hurry. You shouldn't live urgently. Society tells you that, you know, you should learn patience. You should learn patience. Society tells you that, look, don't set your expectations too high because you'll be disappointed when you can't achieve those expectations. Society tells you that, you should be more realistic, be more reasonable with your goals. And society will tell you that you shouldn't be competitive. Like, why do you want to be competitive? Like, that's kind of harsh, right? Well, untrue. See, to you, all those things that are actual traits of successful people, you've been conditioned to think that these are traits of people who are cutthroat and harsh, but they're not. See, successful people know that they only have a finite amount of time. Successful people know that there is a window of opportunity that will present itself when the economy is right, or the competition is struggling, or a opportunity presents itself in a certain way, and they know that they have to strike. They can't sit there and pontificate about it forever. They can't think about it forever. So successful people know that they have to act urgently. Successful people live impatiently. Like, I'm massively impatient. Like, I know people get frustrated with me when I'm like impatient. I will give you an example right now. Just a couple days ago, and Lauren is right here in this room, but Lauren was in this meeting, but I'm not going to talk about which of my companies this was about. But for one of my companies, we got a piece of content. It was sent to me in a Dropbox link, and this piece of content for this company was to be posted across the company social media platforms and my social media platforms to help drive more sales and engagement and clients and customers, right? I saw this piece of content and I was like, holy cow, everybody stop. No one post this anywhere. In fact, I reached out to the leader of this company of mine, and I said at 4:15, let's have a meeting and get all the necessary people in that meeting, because that piece of content is so horrible that I will be the first person ever canceled, not because the content is so controversial, but because it is so boring and lame. Now, you're like, is that how you spoke, B, in the meeting? That's exactly how I spoke in the meeting, because I'm passionate, because I know we can do better, because my expectation of my leader and his team members and the people he delegates to are just as high as they are for me. And so I said, when can we get a better version of this video? And the team leader said, well, I think by March we can get a new one. I'm like, by March? No way, man. Like, we need to get it sooner. The team leader said, well, I think we can get it by February then. We can get a better version of this by February. Now that you described what you're looking for, how you want it to look and the style and the music and the words on the screen, I think we can get one by February. I'm like, nope, next week. And he goes, next week? I said, yes, next week. I said, that's impossible. The team, they have other things to film and edit and produce. And I was like, no worries. I will have one for you next week. Sometimes as the leader, you have to jump back into the weeds and show them through your actions that you can produce the outcome and then hold them to the expectation of that outcome. Now, that may seem a little harsh and cutthroat because it's the holidays. Like, how can I get the team to stop what they're doing? No, they're not going to stop what they're doing. They're going to do what I'm going to ask them to do in addition to what they're doing. And they're going to produce this thing in the next 8 days. And in fact, I'm taking my man Ed, who's right behind the camera, with me because I'm overseeing this entire shoot. The shoot's going to happen this Saturday. And within the next 5 days after that, we're going to have the most awesome 1-minute reel and short that we're going to be able to post everywhere and move the money and the meaning needle for this company of mine. The reason that's so important is because I am impatient. I am unreasonable in my expectations. I am massively able to set high standards for myself. And those standards then I transfer to everyone around me. You have to be this way. This is how the successful people operate. They live urgently. They just go now. Like, look, when I go to events and I'm speaking at events and then like there's a break, this happens all the time. Like there's a break before the last event that I spoke at, there was like 1,500 people, right? And I was up to speak after the guy spoke, they gave the audience a 15-minute restroom break. I just happened to be leaving the ballroom from the back of the room to run to the restroom. And so I was caught in the crowd of people going to the restroom. Now people are milling along. They're taking their time, going down the hotel banquet hallways, looking at their iPhones, chit-chatting to each other. I'm now stuck behind 3 or 4 people trying to zig and zag and serpentine and weave and in and out, trying to get to the restroom. Not because like, oh my God, I got to get back there and get mic'd up and get on stage. No, we have 15 minutes. We have plenty of time. But I don't like walking slowly. I don't like meandering. I want to be purpose-driven. I want to move with a purpose in every area of my life. You might be called to do this, but you might be like, oh no, man, everyone told me I need to be more patient. I can't be competitive. I can't set high expectations because it's too unrealistic. And what if I fail? And right? No, man, be urgent. The reason the most successful people live urgently is they know that no matter how fast they work, it's going to take longer, it's going to cost more, there's going to be a lot of issues, and so you're never going to reach that deadline. You think that, oh, I got years to achieve this. Before you know it, you're old and you're decrepit and you're dying and you're living in regret. You got to live urgently. You got to be impatient, right? Ed Milet calls it being blissfully dissatisfied. Be happy about where you are in life, but be so dissatisfied. Be blissful where you are, but be so dissatisfied that it hurts to be where you are because you know where you need to be. How do you know where you need to be? Well, it's because you have a passion, a burning passion. You have this potential that you know that you can reach. You already have seen the version of yourself 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line. And you're like, I need to get there now. I need to be that guy or gal now. The rest of the world, they're like, what's the problem? You work your 9 to 5 and you get in the car, you buy your sugar-laden Starbucks and you watch social media while you putz your way to your apartment. And then, those are the same people that will never have a great sense of meaning. Those are the same people that will just never really accomplish all of the goals and dreams that they have in their head and heart because they're too afraid to launch. They're too afraid to be different. They're too afraid to fail. Failure is part of the plan. The most successful people I know have failed and failed and failed. You fail forward, you fail fast. Write that down. You fail forward and you fail fast. The more often you fail and the more frequently you can fail at something, the more you get to the desired outcome. Because if there's 5 paths that I've got to take and only one of these paths get me to the desired outcome, in a perfect world, I would always make the best decision and take the right path every time to get to the desired outcome. But life is not like that. As you live urgently, as you're always leaning towards action, as you're always leaning towards speed, you sometimes take the wrong path and the wrong path and the wrong path, and then finally there's the right path. I would rather fail forward and fail often 10 times to have the 11th time be the right path than and get it done in 9 months than have you wait 15 months to figure out the right path, right? You might be doing research for 15 months trying to figure out the right path because there's 5 paths and you're like, I need to figure out the right path. It takes you 15 months. In 8 or 9 months, I could take each one of those paths and finally hit the right one in 8 or 9 months. And this is how successful people think. You're like, well, what if you fail? You get up and you do it over again. It hurts. You dust yourself off. You might be in debt. That relationship might fall apart because you're like, whoops, I didn't realize that when you are this way in a relationship, that it can erode it. Next relationship, I'm going to do better. Next relationship, I'm going to do better. But you think you're just going to stand on the sidelines and just try and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and never really launch, gather information, but never really attack your goals? The most successful people I know their potential and have a great amount of passion towards their potential, and they are unapologetically working towards the desired outcome every single day. They live urgently. They expect everyone else to act urgently, right? And if you can act urgently, if you can be impatient, you can have high expectations of yourself and others around you. If you are unrealistic and unreasonable, by the way, unrealistic and unreasonable only in the eyes of the average and mediocre. I hope you understand that. The circles that I run around in, all the big goals that I have and that I share with the people that I hang out with and they share their goals with me, to the average person, it's all unreasonable and unrealistic. Someone might be like, how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to go from making 20 million a year in that company to next year making 35 million? Like, how are you going to add 15 million 1 year? Well, because we're going to do this and we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Well, how do you know it's going to work? I don't. But we're going to execute fast. We're going to execute with speed. If it works, we're going to dump more money into it and accelerate the process. we're going to execute, and if it doesn't work, we're going to pivot, dust ourselves off, and go down the next path. This is how you get shit done. Hey guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian Show. I took some time to go to the local juice stores here in town, and I bought all these different ginger, turmeric, and wellness shots. Now, they range anywhere from $3.69 all the way to $4.05. And to be honest with you, they all suck. Why? Because they do not have anywhere near the wonderful ingredients of the Trulian Wellness Shot. First of all, to build your immune system and keep your immune system strong, Trulian Wellness Shot is packed with vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. And also to help you fight off inflammation, it is packed with turmeric, ginger, and black pepper. And to keep you hydrated, Trulian Wellness Shots have sodium, potassium, and magnesium. This is the ultimate morning supplement. Just take one packet, pour it in 4 ounces of water, and shoot it, and you're good to go. Best of all, $1.69 per packet instead of twice the price of those other inferior ones. I want you to get 50% off your first 30-day supply. So go to Trulian.com, use my name Bedros, and you can get 50% off plus free shipping, a 30-day money-back guarantee, and $1 gets donated to Shriners Children's Hospital. Best of all, if you like the Trulian Wellness Shots, and I know you will, like thousands of other people who are part of the Trulian tribe, every month we'll send you a new supply at 20% off, free shipping. So go to Trulian.com, use my name Bedros, and get your 50% discount code before it goes away. Back to the show. And if you think that successful people just somehow, they're journaling and they're doing interpretive dance and they're doing their little sound bowls and then they meditate and then finally, dong, the meditation's over and let me go on and live my day and work with intent and passion. Shut the fuck up. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Do those things. Get your workout in, eat right, do your meditation, do whatever you need to do. But at the end of the day, you better attack your goals, and you better attack your goals urgently. Be impatient. Have high expectations of yourself and the people around you. Because if you don't, you will miss out on the opportunities. You will miss out on the partnerships. You will miss out when it's time to strike. And you will always feel like, oh man, I should have done that. Like right now, Bitcoin's blowing up, right? How many of you out there are like, oh man, I should have gotten on Bitcoin 3 years ago. 2 years ago, it dropped to like $35,000, right? You would have think like, oh man, I should have taken Bitcoin then. Now it's almost $100,000 for a Bitcoin. So you didn't do it 2 years ago. You didn't do it 5 years earlier. You didn't do 10 years ago because you're like, oh, it's a scam. When are you going to do it? I don't know anything about Bitcoin, but I can tell you this. When I say I don't know, I know a fair amount of Bitcoin. I do my own investing, but I'm not here to give you investing advice. But I will tell you this. I have a feeling that 4 years from now, when Bitcoin is blowing up, you're going to be like, shit, I should have gotten on board with it when Bitcoin was at $100,000 per Bitcoin. But the people that are living urgently are impatient, have high expectations of themselves, know that if they fail or they screw up, they can dust themselves off. Failure is not permanent. I need you to understand that. This is why we competitive people can move faster. We can move unapologetically because I'm not looking to please people around me. I'm not looking to take the average people around me, the mediocre people around me, and please them and make them feel safe and make them feel like, well, if I act with urgency and if I'm impatient and I achieve a lot, that they're going to feel bad about themselves. I don't care. You can't care because I know what the potential for Bedros Keuilian is. I know who I'm meant to be next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. I see that guy so clearly. I fucking want to be him so bad that all I want to do is keep working in my relationships, in my health, in my mindset, in my money, in my meaning and fulfillment, in all the categories of success. I want to work towards the highest, most developed version of myself, impatiently. And to a lot of people, that is unrealistic and it's unreasonable to work so fast and so hard towards something. I'm excited for it. You'd be excited for it. But you're afraid to because you don't want to rock the boat. What will your friends say, family say? They'll tell you to be careful, watch out. What if you fail? What if that embarrasses our family? Who cares? Who cares? Your failure cannot embarrass your family because if you fail, and then succeed, everyone's going to be rooting for you. And what the fuck have they done? And what the fuck have they done that they can sit there and feel embarrassed or feel like they can laugh at you? But what have they done to anything meaningful? So when are you going to start launching towards this version of yourself? The version of yourself that is passionate, the version of yourself that has a goal or a dream in your head or heart that you want to execute? Maybe it's I want to get leaner, but everyone around me is fat and they drink and they eat sloppy foods and they watch a lot of TV. So if I went and worked out and didn't eat right and stopped and then was eating right and then stopped drinking, like they'd be like, well, all of a sudden you're Mr. Health Nut. All of a sudden you're Mr. Eating Clean. Oh, you don't drink anymore. Is everything okay? You think you're an alcoholic or something? Well, you can't just take the edge off here and there. Fuck you. I don't want to. I don't want to drink. I don't want to poison my body. I don't want to eat unhealthy foods. I don't want to look fat and floppy and degenerate. I don't want to have a giant stretched marked belly. It's okay for you to set these high expectations of yourself. And you know what will happen when you tell them to fuck off? They will go like, at first they'll judge you, then they'll laugh at you, and then they'll go, hey, what exactly is it that you're doing that you got fit like that your relationship is so healthy and awesome, that you seem so happy and at peace with yourself, that you seem to have your finances squared away? What is it that you're doing? And like, well, motherfucker, all the things that you would judge when I was trying to live urgently and be impatient and have high expectations of myself, and it seemed like I was being unrealistic and I was being cutthroat and harsh. Turns out I wasn't. It's because I'm passionate, I'm excited, and I know what the potential of myself is, and I'm trying to become that guy as soon as possible. I don't want to be the best version of myself when I'm 85, 90 years old and then die. If I can become the highest version of Bedros in the next year or two, I have to push for that. That is the meaning of life. To keep pushing towards your life's goals and dreams, and to serve as an example to the people around me that I motivate and inspire, from my kids to my team, to my family, to everybody. And so I'm begging you guys, if you've set the bar too low because your parents were like, hey, be careful. Hey, you should just go get a 9-to-5, go to college and pay off your college debt and go get 50, 60, 70,000 a year, go make 100,000 a year and just, you should be satisfied. You shouldn't. Like, don't be satisfied for this normal societal standard that they've set. Society is like a bucket of crabs. And when one crab gets all ambitious and starts climbing to the top, all the other crabs pull it down. Society, parents, school teachers, grandparents, coworkers, friends, they're all fucking crabs. Not like they mean to be, but they've been brainwashed. They've been coded to conform. It's because you're constantly conforming. You understand that, right? You're constantly conforming to the societal standards of mediocrity and average. And the moment you try and break out of that, it means you have to gain a lot of inertia and urgency and impatience. And that is threatening to them. And when they are threatened of you growing, of you scaling, of you leaving, which you're not, you're just becoming the best version of yourself so that you can help them, support them, inspire them, move them towards their goals. But they don't understand that. So instead they're like, oh my God, don't, what if, and how come, and why are you working through the weekends? Why don't you come to Abuela's birthday party? Come on, I'm telling you right now, man, do not succumb to societal normalcies. Well, we got a little house and it's our forever house and we're just going to live here forever and we're just going to have 2 cars and always have debt. No. What if you could actually have a lot more? You could have rental properties. You can have assets that you've invested in. You can have multiple income streams. You could set yourself as an example to your kids. Look, dad's 50 years old and he's fit. Mom's lean and we're making money and we have this fund that you guys are going to be in charge of when we die. It's this trust. And so you have to have financial literacy, son and daughter, because if you don't, you're going to squander this money. And so I am obligated to teach you this. I am setting high standards and expectations for you to learn this shit, but I don't want to. Then I'm not going to leave you this, right? Then I'm not going to leave you this. You're like, that sounds harsh. That sounds pretty cutthroat, B. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. If they're not going to be a good steward of my money and my assets and the shit that I've built, then they don't deserve to benefit from it. And see, all of these things are so contrarian to you because you've been brainwashed to thinking that the societal norms is how you should abide to. No. Brian Tracy had a really good line. There's this black and white video of Brian Tracy. God rest his soul. He's dead now. One of my all-time heroes and mentors, man. Just the great sales trainer and motivational and inspirational speaker. And he said, the people that get a lot of things done are the people who live in a state of urgency because they know what their passion and their potential is in life. And so they're always living in a state of urgency, attempting to reach that potential the version of themselves that they love and respect and admire and want to become. He goes, so for you to live urgently, the people who are most successful, most happiest, most fulfilled are the ones that are living urgently, because you don't know if you have 90 years. What if you know? What if you only have 40 years on this planet? What if I'm 50? What if I'm supposed to die at 55? God forbid, right? That means I got 5 more years, 4.5 years to go. I have to work urgently. I'm going to love my kids up. I'm going to love my family up. I'm going to make as much money as I can and donate to Shriners and Toys for Tots and Compassion International. I'm going to make sure that I mentor my team and that I'm a shining example of good humanity. I'm going to make sure that I put out my best content. Because if I don't, then as I'm dying 4.5 years from now, if that's how the Lord wants me to die or the universe wants me to die, I would be in a state of regret. I want to go knowing that I'm attacking all of my life's goals and dreams and being an example of everybody, so that when I die, I could live through everyone else and go, he set such high standards for me that I'm going to live for him. I'm going to live my life by the standards and expectations that he set. Urgently, impatiently, set high expectations. I'm going to be competitive. It's okay to be all those things. I know the school and the university and your parents and the people around you, the friends, the coworkers have all kind of brainwashed you into not being a fucking saber-toothed tiger. They've taught you to be a pussy, a little kitty cat. But in reality, you have claws and fangs, and I want you to learn to attack. I want you to learn to attack. Because when you attack things, you have a higher give-a-shit factor. People who live in urgency, the people who are impatient in getting after their goals and dreams, the people that have high expectations and high standards, they're unrealistic, the ones that are competitive, they are the ones that change the world. These are the people that have a high give-a-shit factor. And when you have a high give-a-shit factor, you just create better things, better relationship, better health, more money, greater impact, influence, inspiration, right? And I want you to have that. I want you to do away with the low standards. And so this is how the most successful people live. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel like a black sheep. I feel like a black sheep till this day. Because when I'm around regular people, could you imagine if I'm like, we had a $1.2 million day today at one of my companies. Like, they're not going to understand that. They're not. They're like, how dare you, right? But they don't know the level of work that me and my team have put in to achieve that. They don't know the level of effort. They don't know the amount of time, the financial sacrifices that I've had to make for years to have that $1.2 million day. They don't know what it takes to get there. They just see the outcome, but they don't see the bottom of that, what's the thing in the fucking water with the iceberg? Thank you. They don't know the bottom part of that iceberg. They just see the tip of the iceberg, like, oh, you had a $1.2 million day in sales, good for you. But when I'm around my people, when I'm around people who think like me, operate like me, live like me, impatiently, urgently, they're like, bro, that's great. When are you gonna have a $1.5 million day? I'm like, fuck, you're right. You're right. Because I could serve more, do more, inspire more, give back more. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So guys, I beg you, do not settle for average or mediocrity. And that's what this show is about. More money, more meaning, higher levels of self-mastery so that you can become the 2.0 version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, guess what? The opposition wants you to be a worker bee. They want you to just get by enough to like pay your taxes, barely have a roof over your head, barely get food on the table. The opposition does not want to see you thrive, because if you start thriving, you become a free thinker, you become sovereign, you become more confident, you become more charismatic, you start making decisions on your own. They want you to rely on them. The opposition, big government, big pharma, food conglomerates, they want you to rely on them. So we have to break out of the norms. And so the system is created to keep you average and keep you mediocre, to not keep you successful. They've redefined success as go to college, go to university, get a good job, and stay. And 6 months after you graduate, you'll start paying off your debt for your school loans. And then one day when your school loans are paid off, you can start putting 53 cents a month into your retirement fund. And that plus your $252 a month of Social Security when you're old, that should be enough for your retirement. No, it's not. Brother, it's not. Do not let them set the low standards of expectations for what success is. I want you to have it all. Health, wealth, meaning, relationships at the highest level. If you feel like you have the potential. Because if you don't have the potential, then you wouldn't be watching this show. So I feel that you have the potential. And so the greatest gift you can give to yourself right now is to go out and execute. Be the black sheep. Be different. Stand out. Fail forward. Fail fast. Get up and re-execute. Execute, execute. And when you do, you will win and you will become an asset to humanity, not a liability. You will break out of the opposition's control and you will see the world differently. And you will have experiences, by the way, for yourself and your family, the people that you love, that are unmatched and just amazing. Guys, if you got a lot of value from this episode, please do me a favor and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment on the Spotifys and the iTunes. And please understand this, that average is the enemy, that success is your responsibility, and change can take place in an instant if you are willing to flip the switch. Love you guys. See you next time.